Okay, I had to delete the, I had to uninstall PRISMA3D chip and reinstall a new version of PRISMA3D. So all the projects that we saw before are gone. So you don't have a text option. So when you create a project, you can't create a text object right away. So that's why. And then project name text. Okay, font. Bold level model. Bold. That's my default. Project name. STQ Battleship. Let's leave it like that for the time being. Okay. Oh. Size it. Where's the size? Okay, maybe scale that. 10. 10. That scale works for most of my projects. When I'm making a space battleship, I'm using a space battleship model or the World War II model for my Tabletop project model, colony spacecraft design. So even that's for text project. This is pretty good. 10-10-1. And with the Tabletop project model, the scale is 1 feet. Scale 1 equals 1 foot. And this is good, still good. And then other projects, scale is 1 equals 1 inch, and still, it's a good size. It works for both scales. So okay. This project is going to be based on the IRONCLADS. IRONCLADS and the FLYERS tabletop game system. And that is you're dealing with warship designs between 1860 AD and 1890 AD, before Harvey Steel kicked in. So let's see here. So we go. Okay, we'll knock you down to. Move you to 100. Now the text is on the bottom, so you put a square or a cube. The bottom of the text will be at the text will be at the bottom edge of the cube, and the cube would be centered. What? Actually, the cube would be centered at the bottom of the text. So if you do a 10-10 cube, half the cube would be on the letters, and the other half would be here. So from 0 up to 10 is this way. So I want to have 100 units from the 0 to the battleship free. So I made it 110. And that's the center point. Let's see here. The scale, okay, for Navy field, not Navy field. The scale for the hull size scale for the ironclads and ether flyers is hull size 1 is 50 feet in length. So, oh wait a minute. So okay, we're going to create another text. The font is going to be regular mono regular, and we're going to rename that. Scale 1 text. I don't think this is a brand new update. I'm not experienced with it enough, but I think the numbers don't stick. So it matters when you're creating an object, but once the object is created, the scale doesn't matter anymore because everything goes back to 1. So. Yeah, well, scale 10. I did the mono. Okay. Text. Scale 1 equals 1 foot, 0, inch. I'm an American, so oops. And then we move that down. Oh, we need to have a move that down another 10, so that's 120. Without that. Okay. Let's go home. We're going to name it STQ Battleship. Nope. This is going to get renamed a bit later, I think, because I have different battleship theories, design theories. So and I'm going to explore that using IRONCLADS beneath the FLYERS. So as I was saying, hull size 1 equals 50 feet. So the back in the 1860s to 1890, freeboard was between 5 feet and 15 feet max. But I'm going to, ocean waves are typically 10 feet high. Now you're talking about storm surge waves. That's a totally different story. But normal non-storm waves is about 10 feet. Ship waves, movement waves is about 5 feet. So based on, therefore, belt armor would be would be 5 feet above the water line and 5 feet below the water line for the weight to protect, because to protect the water line. That's my theory. Now, how realistic that is, I don't know. Let's see here. So the free let's get rid of that. Plane. Okay, scale that. Within the IRONCLADS Eagle FLYERS, the maximum displacement, maximum size, the mass that you can have for your ship was 90. Hull size times 250 equals mass 1, theoretically. So yeah, but within you look at the tables, the mass, hull length, and total mass. You would have the maximum mass per hull size, hull length was 8 plus 2 or something like, or maybe 5. So we're going to say 8 for simple application. So mass 90 divided by 8 is a hull size of 11. Not 8 into 9 is 1. You got a leftover of 10, and then that's also 1, so that's 11. So that would be times hull size 11 times 50 is 550 feet. So we'll scale that to 550. Although I think with the plane, that is, yeah. So we go 600. The plane measurements is kind of wonky. $300, there we go. With the plane measurements, that goes from 0 to the edge. So you go, so I said 550, so it went from plane to here for 550. Therefore, the total was 550 times 2, which is 10, 1,100 feet. So actually, you're doing, so when you go 300, you're dealing with 600 feet here, which is a little bit over the thing. So, and then we want no. Okay, there. That is the volume. Okay, that is the plane. Okay. That's sea level. We're going to move that up 100. So that way we have the original point is where you can make stuff, And then once we got it made, we put it up here. And we need to rename that. Sea level plane. Okay, the game, IRONCLADS FLYERS, uses a hex board for movement. And so what for excuse me, I'm a little groggy. So movement is based on cables. One cable is 200 yards. A yard is 3 feet. 3 feet times 200 is 600 feet. 600 feet divided by 50 is 1. For 50, so that's 10, 100, and that's 2. So that's 12. One cable is hull size 12. So, most warships within the IRONCLADS use hull size 8, which is 400 feet. Has maximum. That's the maximum, approximately 400 feet hull length. We're talking about ships in the 1860s to the 1880s, or 1890. Well, Harvey Steel was created in mid-late, sometime between August and October 1890, somewhere on there. Yawn. Me sleeping. So, since we're using a hex, the ships are faced when doing movement in the IRONCLADS FLYERS. They're going from the bow and the stern are facing the flat edges of the hex. So the hex is 50 feet by 50 feet from side to side. Therefore, the middle corners are greater than 50 feet, maybe 75 feet approximately. So most warships, of the time period is around 75 feet, 50 feet beam. So the biggest of the ships would have a 75 feet beam. The smallest ships would have a beam less than 50 feet. The average being around 50 feet. So now we can do the cube. Since we established that, So the freeboard is going to be 10 feet. Hull length, hull size 1 is 50 feet. And the beam is going to be 75 feet. So we'll move that up. To 105. So with hull size 1 within the IRONCLADS and FLYERS game system, you can have a turret or 2 battery guns per side. This means 4 battery guns. Okay, oh. All size 1 freeboard. Let's do that. Okay. Within the IRONCLADS game system, they talk about draft, but they refer into terms of shallow, medium draft, and deep draft. Shallow draft allows you to go in rivers and stuff. You can go anywhere on a shallow draft. Medium draft, you hit shoals. And then deep draft, you cannot go into shoals. If I remember my studies correctly, and in my 1980 studies, the deepest drafts between Warship's draft between 1860 and 1880 was about 20 feet. So we're going to say that's 20. This is 50 for hull length. And this is 75 for beam width. So we're going to rename that. Size 1 drafts. 100 minus 10 is 90. So that's what a hull size one would look like on a warship in 1880s, 1860s, 1880s warship. So a turret is going to be a simple. You need 10 feet of space, 5 feet per side of the gun, for the gun mount. The gun is based on barrel diameter and barrel thickness. So if you have a 1 inch, if you find a 1 inch diameter ammunition, your barrel is going to have to be 1 inch thick, and so their total barrel diameter is going to be 3 inches. So for simplification, okay, if we do okay, this is height. If we do 12 inch for a 1 foot diameter barrel, then your gun size will be 4 inches. You have a 4 inch gun. Caliber is based on naval artillery caliber is based on the diameter of the projectile. The basic projectile shape is actually a sphere. So if you have a 4 inch diameter, if you have a 1 inch diameter shell, you're gonna your total volume, your barrel length would be 1 inch for the basic sphere. So that'll be caliber 1. Back in the 1860s and 1880s, your gun caliber was basically 30. So you want to have your barrel length is 30 times the diameter of your shell. And back in the 1860s, the original shell shape was a sphere, which is a cannonball. So for a 30 caliber gun, you're looking at a 30 inch barrel length. So that's okay. Well, this is a 12 inch gun, so 4 inches times 30, that's 120 inches. Divided by 12, that's 10 feet. Wait, that's not right. Okay, this is the 90. So that's 12 inches in diameter. Oh, that's what I got wrong. Alright, so that's 12 feet in diameter. So that's 6 inches. Alright, yeah, that'd be 6 inches. Divide that by 3, so that's 6 inches. So that'll be 3, actually that's 12 feet, the way I have it scaled. That's 12 feet by 6 feet, so that's 3 feet, that's 6 feet. I messed up. Let's get all that. Keep that. Okay. Scale 1. Okay, yeah. Scale 1 is 12 inches, therefore that is 10. Okay, still that's correct. Okay. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay. That's better. Okay, there we go. Okay, 12 inches, 6 inches, 3 inches, 6 inches. Okay, that'll be adequate. Delete that. Delete that. Okay, we're done with that. Get all that. And we want to rename that. French barrel exterior. I never had that. Okay. Oh, okay. And you could create another cylinder. Okay, hold on. You scale that to 10. Point 2. Five. 0.5. Okay. All of that. Hit that. Delete that. Delete that. Go there. And that. Four-inch barrel 4. Upside down eternity. Okay. Yeah. Back in the early days, back in the 1860s, in HMS Warrior, the Ironclad, no, the iron-hulled warship was made. The guns were on the side of the hull. They were made. It was made in a similar manner as the sailing ships, and so the guns stuck out the side of the hull. So we're going to move. So 75 divided by 2, 35. 70 is 35. And then 5 is 2.5. 37.5. Nope, wrong one. .5. And the waterway is 100. freeboard is, so that small freeboard is 10 feet. So we're going to go 5. Skill was 10, so we're going to go number 5. That's 42.5. Five. 5. So that was how that looked. Be visible again. So 50 divided by 3 is 2. That's, oh, correction, 1. That's 2 remaining. 20, that's 16. Point, what, repeating. So we're going to go 17. Oh, wait. Okay, oh, I did that wrong. Okay, that's 50, so 25. That's 12.5. Correct. Okay. Copy that. And move that to negative 12.5. So, and then copy that. And then move that to negative 42.5. Copy that. Oh, come on. I actually touched the screen with this pinky. Inch barrel, okay. You copy that. Minus 42.5. I said 42. Minus 42.5. Okay. So that is what a battery armament would look like. And ironclads beneath the FLYERS. They're trying to do the HMS Warrior. (1860s) HMS Warrior. Okay, let's see here. No, let's do the main gun turret. Scale 1 equals 1 foot. So no, undo that. So what we want to do, that's going to be the bore diameter. So we're going to knock that out. Oh, okay, we're going to get out of this. And then "12" gun barrel bore. Okay, so now multiply that by 30. Let's scale that. Okay, so now we're going to do another one. For simplification, we're just going to multiply that by 2. Okay, let's see here, scale that. All of that centers that on it, and then we go up. Like that. Come on. Okay. Okay. Okay, we gotta get out of their mode here. Yeah, how did I get into camera? I won't get out of camera mode. Models? Okay, back out. Delete. Okay. Seaplane. Hide it. Mono. I said delete. Get all that. Get all that. There we go. And that is, renaming that. And barrel exterior. Rotate that. No, not that way. rotate it that way. Yeah, that's the broadside, and we're going bow stern. Okay, so that's 10, put us down to 5 is 15. We're going to move you up 115. Okay, so this is 2 inch. So we got 2-foot diameter barrel. It's actually supposed to be 3 feet diameter barrel, but so then you need 5 feet per side. So that 10 feet, that'd be 13 feet for a single. Okay, so we're going to do cylinder. And we're going to move you up 115. And we're going to scale you 10 feet high. I'll do with that. Okay, now for a single barrel, we said 13 plus 10. So that's 13. and name that single barrel turret interior. Okay, so 12-inch barrel exterior. I'm going to move that. .5 because that's a 13-inch interior. Long 6.5. It don't really matter right now. Okay, the center. And so we need to move down another 15. That's 21.5. I said 21. Okay, so basically for hull size 1, you can have either a turret or battery guns within Ether IRONCLADS and FLYERS game system. For hull size. And we are at 1 minute and 22 1 hour and 22 minutes. I'm going to go at this video. That's it for this video.